know me, it's your girl Blush, and we are back with another Boss Babe University.
All my boss babes in the paint, they know what I mean. Everything.
All right, so in the spirit of just making sure that I'm staying on top of myself, being accountable, and getting these videos out to you guys, I wanted to actually do another Boss Babe University video. The last one I talked about just from a personal perspective, a personal experience of a conversation that I had with a loved one. We did a video about pretty much learning about the difference between, or just learning the concept of basic and simple interest formula and how we can get those loans paid off a little bit quicker. Before I actually move further, I want to make sure that if you're watching, if this is your first time here, hey, hope that you stay until the end of the video, and I hope that you like what I'm bringing to you and that you can come back and visit us a little bit more. And you can actually do that by making sure that you are subscribed. So hit the subscribe button. And if you are returning, welcome. Where you been? I hope you've been staying on top of your finances, because that's what we're doing, trying to go ahead and glow up financially together. All right, so now that we got that out the way, let's get it popping. So I wanted to kind of basically stay on the topic of loans, because a lot of it is definitely from my own personal experience as well. At some point in your life, you've taken out some sort of a loan, whether it be a student loan, whether it be an auto finance loan, whether it be a mortgage, and whether it be a personal loan. You may have taken out some sort of a loan and have gotten hit some way, somehow, because you were miseducated or side bamboozled because your loan company or your lender did not explain to you some of the information that was on the contract, and again, being misinformed. Like, you didn't probably look at your own contract yourself to know exactly what you were taking on when it came onto this loan. So we have a couple of loan companies or a couple of lenders out there that are being scrutinized and actually under fire. You can probably Google it. I'm not going to be specific in naming any of these loan or lender companies, but you have specific lenders out there that are under fire because when people, consumers, are taking out these loans, sometimes during the loan process, some of these agents or representatives, when they're assisting these consumers with getting a loan, they're encouraging, urging, advertising, just bringing forward to the consumer about other add-ons they can add on to the loan. And while some of the idea or the theory of some of these add-ons are great in theory, either the lender companies are not following through with those add-ons, or they're just not beneficial for the consumer in the end. And unfortunately, you end up finding out later on when you got a loan that's packed on with all these extra interest, all these extra add-ons, because these add-ons cost. It's going to cost you more on your premium or on your loan payment, because the loan that you would have taken out that would have been, I don't know, $5,000 now becomes a loan that's $7,000 on the front end because you added on an extra $800-900 for these add-ons. The problem is that sometimes consumers are not aware that these add-ons are being added on, or or even after they said that they don't want them, they're still being added on, or they're not being fully explained on how these add-on works and the exclusions behind it. Like any contract is gonna most likely are going to have some sort of exclusion. So they're going to give you something, but they're going to tell you, in order for you to get this, you cannot do this. And a lot of times we don't know what those you cannot do this, or we're not aware of what those you cannot do this items that your add-ons are not allowing you to be able to use when you need to use them. So for example, prime example might be your loan may say, the agent may say, hey, do you want to go ahead and add on supplemental insurance, voluntary, involuntary or voluntary work, like if you lost your job, basically during the time that you have the loan. Obviously, if you lose your job, you're going to lose income, and it's going to be hard for you to pay back your loan, if not impossible in certain scenarios. So taking on these supplemental insurance would ensure that, okay, if you were to ever face that, you just let them know, put a claim in, and you can basically use that insurance to cover your premiums or your loan payments during the time that you're not working until you can get back on your feet. The problem is, a lot of times these lender companies are finding reasons or ways that you cannot use the insurance when you do need it. Or you didn't even know you even had that on your loan, and now again your loan is much more higher every month. Again, hence your interest is going to be higher, costing you more in the end, and again, it's not beneficial to you. So some of the, and some of the tactics that some of these lenders will basically do, they'll wait until the ending of your closing. So while they explain everything, okay, this is what your loan is, what your amount is, and so forth, and then in the end, that's when they're either pressuring you or just kind of adding things onto you towards the end, and you're kind of like overwhelmed. You need to get the loan, you're trying to get things done, so you either agree to it or don't even know that you have agreed to it, or maybe you said no and they still added it on. So we have to basically be very careful when we're taking out these loans. In essence, you should always be reading any contract that you receive. And again, I get it, and I've been there. You need the loan. It sounds good. You take it out. I believe I can pay it off in a year or two. I believe I can pay it off in 6 months. I believe I can pay off this loan in about 3 months. I can do it, so you don't pay attention to the contract you just signed. Where do I sign? Sign on the dotted line and you go. And this is where we find ourselves in a whole heap of trouble. One of the main things I do want you to keep in mind is that there is a APR versus interest rate issue here. If the APR is significantly higher than the interest rate, most likely there are going to be some hidden fees that are likely buried in your loan. So make sure that if you're noticing something weird with your interest rates, or the APR or anything like that, take a look at your paperwork. And also, just remember also, when you're taking out your loan, a lot of times they'll give you the disclosures, they'll give you the policy, or they'll give you the loan contract, but they'll tell you after signing it, it's only available for so many days. So make sure that you're downloading it onto some sort of device that you know you're going to always have. So whether it be a computer, maybe your cloud, Google Docs, on your phone, make sure that you download it onto something that you can have in the long run, so you can always go back to it. Because again, they'll give it to you, but you're not paying attention to how long you have access to it. So just pay attention to that. Again, once we notice that those interest rates, APRs and things like that are a little bit higher than it sounds like it's supposed to be, take a look at what they say is included in your loan. Most likely will be in your loan agreements, and look to see if they've added on any hidden fees that you were not made aware of. And then if they are, follow up with your lender and find out either how you can, if it's possible for you to get those hidden fees removed, or you can make them be aware that this, in essence, it's kind of a breach of a contract, because if you didn't agree to these fees and they just pack these fees, these add-ons and things like that on there, that's sort of a breach of a contract. Because again, they didn't make you aware of that in the beginning. You basically agreed to a loan, and only the loan and the interest, but yet you have all these add-on fees that were not made aware to you until afterwards. So you can always basically see if you can speak with the lender about these hidden fees. Can they be removed? What are your options? And if you feel like you've been bamboozled, I'm not a legal advisor, but you can definitely, you have the right to seek legal advice if you feel like you've been bamboozled, like your loan agreement is not making sense, and just not making sense. If it's not adding up, if the math ain't mathing. The other thing I want you to take a look at is itemized charges. Ask for a written breakdown of every fee. So again, you feel like something's not right, or just in general, don't ever sign or agree to anything without getting any itemized breakdown of what you're being charged of, and how does it affect your loan, your interest, the principal, things of that nature. Get a breakdown of it verbally, and then also see if you can get a breakdown of it in written form. Because verbally, you kind of have a foundation of what those fees are, but then when you have it in written form, you have something that you can always go back to. You want to definitely take a look at terms like membership services, products, like I mentioned earlier, voluntary or involuntary insurances. Make sure you're taking a look at that and what it entails. So maybe you did agree to voluntary insurance, but they didn't give you a breakdown of what is included in voluntary insurance or not. Exclusions, things like that. The no rule is something you want to keep in your mind as well, because by law, most add-ons are optional. You don't have to have those add-ons onto your loan or part of your loan agreement. If a lender says they are required for approval, that's usually a major red flag. So I would definitely take a look at that. And then look at cancellation terms. Check to see if you can cancel products, like I mentioned before, for a full refund within 30 days of your loan. These are definitely things that I wish I knew before I made some agreements to certain loans, certain agreements that I made with certain companies and lenders. And I made mistakes so that you don't have to. So just make sure that you take heed of what I'm sharing with you guys today. And if you have any more questions, or if you just want to go ahead and have a dialogue, the comment section below is open. Just be respectful. But until we meet again, peace.